Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to explain getters and setters. Let's begin with getters. To create a getter, you use the get keyword. Its job is to bind an object property to a function when that property is accessed. Here's an example. Let's create a class car. Class car. I'll create a constructor. Constructor. We'll have one parameter, power. This will be in horsepower. This dot power equals power. When I create a car object, let car equal new car. I will pass in a unit for power. This will be in horsepower. 400 horsepower is good. Then I will display this console.log car.power. My car has 400 horsepower. One thing I don't like about how my code is written is that when I'm displaying the car's horsepower, there's no unit of measurement. When I display this property, I could add on car.power plus HP for horsepower, but I have a better idea. Let's use a getter. When we get this property, we can add some additional logic. I will type get, the name of the property, power, parentheses, curly braces. When we access this property, we will instead invoke a function. We will return this dot power. Now there's a couple issues with this. When I run this, first we have a type error. Cannot set property power of car. The property name and the getter cannot have the same name. A common naming convention with properties of objects, if you have getters and setters set up, is that you take the property name and precede it with an underscore. This lets other developers know that this is a protected property and you probably shouldn't mess with it. Now if I run this, we have another issue. Uncaught range error, maximum call stack size exceeded. That's because when we invoke this getter, we're returning this dot power. Again, we're invoking the getter method from inside of it. We will instead return this dot underscore power. Underscore power is the protected property. Now when I run this, it displays my number, 400. By associating a protected property with only a getter, this protected property is read-only and not writable. If I was to take car.power and set this to like a gajillion, and I display my car's power, well, it's still at 400. We do not have direct access to this property. I mean, theoretically, you could set car.underscore power to a gajillion, but developers know that if you see underscore then a property name, that means it's protected and you shouldn't mess with it at all. Another thing that we can do with getters is that we can add some additional logic. Instead of just returning this dot power, let's add horsepower to the end. I'll place this within a template literal and add HP for horsepower. So when I display my car's power, it's 400 horsepower. So that's a few benefits of getters, is that 1, it increases data security, and 2, you can perform some additional logic when you access a property directly. To use a getter, you type the object name followed by the getter name. It appears to be no different from accessing that property directly. We don't need to invoke a power method. You just type power as if it's a property. Let's create a protected property for gas. Within my constructor, I'll set this dot underscore gas to some amount of gas in liters. Perhaps we're selling cars and each car will have 25 liters of gas to start with. Then to display my gas, I can use a getter. Get gas, return this dot underscore gas. The unit of measurement will be liters. Let's display my car's power and its gas. 25 liters. Let's add some additional logic. Along with the gas level, I would like to display the percentage of what my tank is at. So 0% would be empty, 100% would be full. I'll return a template literal. What about this dot underscore gas divided by maybe some max tank size like 50 liters times 100%. If my gas level is at 25, well then my tank is half full. And I can change this to a different number like 50. Now my tank is completely full. Or it's empty. Now let's work on setters. Setters bind an object property to a function when that property is assigned a value. With my power property, I don't want anybody to mess with that. That's why I only have a getter. But with the gas level, I would encourage people to change the gas level. They would want to be able to fill their tank. I'll create a setter. Set gas. We'll need some argument. I'll name this value. To fill my car with gas, I can take this dot gas property equals value. Since gas has a setter, that means it's writable. I'll take my car's gas property and set this equal to some value as if I'm filling the tank. Currently, there's no additional logic within this gas setter. A user could theoretically add like a kajillion liters of gas. Now my gas is like 2 billion% full. I might want to limit that. I'll check to see if our value that we receive is greater than maybe 50. So that will be the max tank size. If the value is greater than 50, then let's set value equal to 50 to limit it. If we attempt to add over 1 billion liters of gas, it will be capped at 50. Or possibly somebody will set this to a negative number, negative 100 liters. Else if value is less than 0, value now equals 0. There, now our tank is empty. So yeah, everybody, those are getters and setters. They bind an object's property to a function when that property is accessed, in the case of a getter, or assigned a value, in the case of setters. So those are getters and setters, everybody. If you would like a copy of my code, I'll post this in the comment section down below. And well, yeah, those are getters and setters in JavaScript.